I sold my car. That is where this really begins. Not with the letter or the laughter, but with the moment I handed over my car keys to a stranger in a dusty parking lot because my parents said they desperately needed my help. Just for a few months, my mother told me over the phone, her voice soft and fragile. We are in a tight spot, Maya. You are the only one we can rely on. We have no one else to turn to. So I helped. I sent money every month. I canceled plans. I turned down a job in another city. I even moved into a smaller apartment just to make sure I could support them. For 2 years. 2 full years of nothing but silence followed. No calls. No messages. No updates. No thank yous. Nothing at all. And then one morning, out of nowhere, their lawyer sent me a letter. I read it once. Then I read it again. And somewhere between the second and third line, I started laughing. Because finally, everything made sense. And for the first time in 2 years, I knew exactly how this would end. The day I sold my car, the sky was too bright. That kind of light that makes everything feel unreal. Like you are watching your own life instead of living it. That is how it felt. The man who bought it did not say much. He just inspected the car, nodded once, and handed me the cash. Good condition, he said. I forced a smile. Yeah. It is. Was. I watched him drive away in silence. That car was not just a car. It was my freedom. My backup plan. My way out if things ever went wrong. And I gave it up. For them. For my parents. Because I believed them. Because I trusted them. At first, everything seemed normal. My mother would call once a week. Short conversations. Careful words. We are managing, she would say. Thank you for everything, Maya. We do not know what we would do without you. My father barely spoke, but I could hear him in the background sometimes. Quiet. Distant. Sometimes I heard my brother's voice too. I did not question it. Why would I? They were my parents. They loved me. Or at least, I thought they did. Then the calls started getting shorter. Much shorter. Then less frequent. 1 call every 2 weeks. Then once a month. Then they stopped completely. At first, I told myself they were just busy. They had jobs. They had responsibilities. Then I told myself maybe things had improved. Maybe they did not need the money anymore. Then I told myself anything except the truth. Because the truth felt too heavy to carry. The silence stretched. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into a year. Then 2. 2 years of sending money to people who never called back. 2 years of birthdays ignored. 2 years of messages left on read or not even opened. I should have stopped. Anyone else would have stopped. But I did not. Because I kept thinking maybe next month. Maybe next call. Maybe they just needed more time. The truth did not come gently. It came all at once. And it came in public. I was standing in line at a grocery store when it happened. Nothing special. Just a normal afternoon. I remember holding a basket with a few items. Bread. Eggs. Coffee. Simple things. Just ordinary everyday items. My phone buzzed. A notification. A tagged photo. I almost ignored it. Almost scrolled past it. But something made me tap it. And that is when everything changed. It was a picture. A big house. A beautiful house. White walls. Wide windows. A garden so clean and perfect it looked unreal. Like something from a magazine. And in front of that house, my parents. Smiling. Both of them. Smiling wide. dressed in clothes I had never seen before. Expensive clothes. Standing next to my younger brother. And his wife. They all looked happy. So happy. The caption read, "Finally moved into our new home. Fresh start. Grateful for family." I stared at the screen. My hands went cold. So cold I could barely hold the phone. I read it again. Then again. New home. Fresh start. Grateful? For who? Because it clearly was not me. I clicked through the photos slowly. There were more. A house tour video. Laughter. Champagne glasses. Celebration. My mother smiling in a way I had not seen in years. My father standing tall, proud. My brother laughing. All of them together. Happy. Complete. Without me. The worst part was not the house. It was not even the lie. It was the comments. Congratulations. You deserve this. So happy for your family. Family. That word sat heavy in my chest. Because I realized something in that moment. I was not part of it anymore. Not really. Maybe I never was. I did not cry. Not there. Not in the store. I just stood still, staring at my phone while people moved around me. Voices blurred. Sounds faded. Everything felt distant. Like I had stepped outside of my own life. When I got home, I sat on the floor. No lights. No music. Just silence. And I replayed everything. Every call. Every message. Every sacrifice. Every excuse I made for them. And slowly, piece by piece, the truth built itself. It was not a mistake. It was not bad timing. It was not distance. It was a choice. They chose to cut me out. They chose to take what I gave and move on without me. And I was not the only one. That is what hurt the most. A few days later, I got another message. This time from my cousin Lena. She had always been kind to me. "Hey, I did not know if you saw the post," she wrote. "I thought you were there. I thought you would be invited." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I replied. I was not invited. There was a pause. A long pause. Then she sent a screenshot. It was a group chat. Family group chat. My family. Not including me. I was not in it. Never had been. I scrolled through the messages slowly. My heart steady. Too steady. Like it had already accepted everything before my mind could process it. My brother wrote, "Maya does not need to know yet." My mother replied, "She will just make things complicated. She always does." My father, "She has always been too emotional anyway." My brother again, "We need to focus on the house first. Once everything is settled, we can deal with her." Deal with me. There were more messages. About money. About transfers. About how I was helpful. About how I was reliable. About how I would not ask too many questions. Comments like I was some kind of tool. Something to be used and then set aside. And then one line that made everything click into place. "She thinks she is helping us stay afloat." Followed by a laughing emoji. And another. And another. I stared at that line for a long time. Reading it over and over. Then I locked my phone. Placed it beside me on the floor. And leaned back against the wall. That is when something changed. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just quietly. Deep inside something shifted. "You never force your way into a room that intentionally locked you out," I said it out loud. My voice calm. Steady. "You quietly make sure you own the entire building. Because here is the part they did not know. The part no one knew. 6 months before that grocery store moment, I had received an email. From a bank. A formal email with official language. At first, I thought it was spam. Just another scam trying to get my information. But it was not. It was about my grandmother. My mother's mother. The only person in that entire family who ever treated me like I mattered. Like I was worth something. Who asked about my life. My dreams. My problems. She passed away quietly. In her sleep. No one told me. Of course they did not. Why would they? She was the one person who loved me unconditionally. But she left something behind. And she did not leave it to them. She left it to me. Not just money. Not just some bank account. Control. Authority. Ownership. Real power. You see, my grandmother owned more than anyone realized. Land. Properties. Investments. And most importantly, a legal trust. One that controlled everything. One that controlled the very house my parents had just moved into. The house was not theirs. Not really. It was leased. Through that trust. Through me. I owned it. At the time, I did not act immediately. I did not say anything. I did not confront anyone right away. Because I wanted to understand what they were really doing. To see how far they would go with the lies. To see if they would eventually tell me the truth. Now I knew they never would. So I waited. I waited patiently. Weeks passed slowly. Then months. I stopped sending money. No explanation. No warning. Just silence. The same silence they had given me. At first, nothing happened. The payments just stopped. Then the messages started coming. Maya, is everything okay? We have not heard from you in so long. Did something happen? Are you okay? I did not reply. Then the calls came. Missed calls. Voicemails. Concerned tones. Carefully chosen words trying to seem innocent. Then the truth started slipping out slowly. We are having some issues with payments to the bank. The bank is asking questions about the property. There is some confusion with the ownership documents. Confusion. I smiled when I read that word. Then one evening, my phone rang again. This time, I answered. Maya, my mother said, her voice shaky and worried, we need your help. There is a problem with the house. The bank says the ownership is under your name. They are asking questions. Can you help us figure this out? I leaned back in my chair. Calm. Composed. Breathing steady. Yes, I said simply. It is under my name. Silence. Long silence. Nothing but breathing on the other end. What do you mean? She whispered, her voice getting smaller. I mean, I said gently, the house you are living in. The house you did not invite me to. The house you called your fresh start. The house you were so happy about. It belongs to me. Her breathing changed. Faster now. Unsteady. Panicked. There must be a mistake, she said. There is not, I replied. Another voice came on the line. My brother. Maya, listen, we can talk about this. No, I said calmly. You talked enough. He went quiet. You said you would deal with me later, I continued. I guess this is later. You laughed about me in those messages. You called me helpful. Reliable. Like I was some kind of tool to use. And then you moved into my house. The house that belongs to me. No one spoke. I did not raise my voice. I did not argue. I did not explain further. Because I did not need to. My voice was calm but firm. Here is what is going to happen, I said. You have exactly 30 days. 30 days for what? My father asked. His voice was smaller than I remembered. Like something inside him had broken completely. To leave, I replied. To pack your things and get out. 30 days is generous considering what you did. The silence that followed was heavier than anything before it. More painful. More real. You cannot do that, my mother said weakly. Her voice was breaking. Please, Maya. You cannot do this to your mother. We are family. I can, I said. And I will. There was nothing left to say. They started talking over each other frantically. Excuses. Apologies. Promises. Desperate pleas. We can explain everything, Maya. Just please let us explain. I let them speak. I let them panic. I let them feel what I had felt. The uncertainty. The confusion. The pain. The sense of being unwanted. Then I ended the call without saying another word. Just hung up. The line went silent. The letter came a week later. From their lawyer. I opened it slowly. Carefully. It was formal. Polite. Carefully worded. They wanted to negotiate. To resolve the matter peacefully. To maintain family harmony. I read it once. Then again. And then I laughed. Not because it was funny. But because it was perfect. For 2 years, I gave them everything. And they gave me silence. Now they had nothing. And I had everything. I did not respond to the letter. Not immediately. I let them wait. The same way I waited through 2 years of silence. The same way I waited while they celebrated without me. Because the greatest revenge is not shouting. It is not proving a point in anger. It is not a dramatic confrontation. It is something quieter. Something colder. Something much stronger. It is letting people realize, too late, that the person they ignored was the most important one all along. That the one they used, the one they discarded, the one they thought they could erase from their lives, was the one holding their entire future in her hands. The person they laughed about in secret messages. The person they planned to deal with later. That person. That person now controlled everything. That person now controlled them. And there was nothing they could do about it except accept the consequences of their choices.